Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to Crypto Chat UK. I want to talk to you today a little bit about gold and Bitcoin and the comparisons that are made about it, and some other info like why Bitcoin potentially is better than gold and some other points about it. Now, I did want to break this down really meticulously for you, but I am running out of time. I've been in the office all morning today. I've had a lot to do and I'm just running out of time, but I do want to get this video out there. So do excuse me if I missed some stuff. I have made a few notes, but just nothing extensive like I really wanted to. But I just think it does make a few great points. If you have got any questions, don't forget you can ask me on Messenger, or you can put some stuff in the comments as well. That's fine. I will answer everybody's questions, so don't worry about that. But I do think we need to discuss this, and it should be mentioned, it should be understood better by a lot of people. People do ask me about this kind of thing, particularly about the comparison to gold, because it's mentioned quite a lot, but also Bitcoin in general. And I do come back to this as well quite often in discussions. Normally when I'm discussing it with people, it just flows out and I get all the info out there at once, and I'll probably melt their brain as much as mine. But I just wanted to get some of it. So if I do miss some stuff or do get some stuff wrong, please forgive me, and also let me know. Don't worry about it. But if we're looking at the comparisons first of why they compare and why people compare myself, gold to Bitcoin, and sometimes they say Bitcoin being gold number 2. Well, obviously it's a resource, okay? They're both resources, they're both assets. Depending on what asset class we call them in the end, they are asset classes. Now, cryptocurrency is a completely new asset class. That's what a lot of people mention. It's what a lot of people talk about, and that is the case. They are a complete new asset class, okay? But they are both assets, okay? Now, the key thing about Bitcoin and gold, they are both scarce. Now, don't forget that. That's very important. The thing with Bitcoin, I think the more positive thing about Bitcoin is that although it's scarce, it is actually a fixed number as well. We can't actually categorically say how much gold is out there. We find gold, we mine it, we empty that area, and then we've got to find more. We don't know how much more is out there. I'm sure there's a lot of specialists who could probably give you an idea of what they think is out there, but we do not know exactly what's out there. With Bitcoin, you have got that fixed amount at the end. You have got only 21 million Bitcoins, and we know that is a fixed quantity. We actually know this, okay? So we know the rareness of it. We know the quantity that's ever going to be out there. Obviously, they're a store of value, which is massive. There is the deflationary aspect of them, of course. So like I've just said as well, the scarcity, the finite resource, it is finite. It's not infinite, okay? Neither of these are infinite, but like I said, Bitcoin is more special in the way that we know what the limit is. There is other things that you could say that are very similar to gold, okay? We could go on for quite a while. But if you look at the differences with them, and perhaps the advantages Bitcoin has over gold initially, there is, I guess, advantages and disadvantages to both. Of course, there is. If you're talking about the physical side, gold is actually physical, that you can hold it in your hand, and obviously Bitcoin isn't. It's a virtual digital currency. Now, you'd think that was a negative. Having that physical gold is a positive compared to Bitcoin's not having the physical, you can grab it with your hands, that kind of thing. In fact, that perhaps, particularly when you're looking at gold as an investment, as speculation, as not that you want to wear it on your finger, wear it around your wrist or your neck, which is a different thing. When you're talking about a store of value, when you're talking about a safe place for money, and you're talking about deflationary. Now, gold is basically deflationary, and Bitcoin is a deflationary currency. There is no doubt in that whatsoever. It's a deflationary currency, or a deflationary asset, if you want to call it that. Okay, so there's some more comparisons too, but if you're looking at that, the difference with and the kind of benefit of having it not as a physical thing in that way, having it digital, is the fact that it's portable, much more portable than gold. If you wanted to, transfer or move your Bitcoin anywhere to somebody else around the world, or to another wallet or another place, whatever, you can do it pretty much immediately and simply, without any borders, without any security, without loads of structure and logistics. You haven't got any of that issue. Now, that's the thing. Now, not many people, particularly the huge investors of the world, actually have like a vault of gold they have in their house. I mean, I'm sure there is some people, but in general, that's not the case. They are putting their money, if it's for store of value, for speculative reasons, they're putting it in gold for a safe way to store the money, and potentially for growth, which will happen over a long time. with gold being so scarce, it's a safest place for it. And pretty much a safe bet for your money. Now, Bitcoin has them same attributes for them reasons, being scarce, being deflationary, and being an asset in that way, being a finite resource. That's very important. So there is loads of reasons. There is so many reasons I could go through, and I could discuss with you the differences and comparisons to Bitcoin and gold. But I think they're kind of the more important ones that you got to think about. The scarcity of it, the finite resource, the deflation aspect of it, the store of value, the fact that this is obviously an asset as well when it comes to Bitcoin. It's a new asset class that exists. The better part of it being that we know the limit of Bitcoin. We know what the total supply is going to be in the end. Whereas with gold, you don't necessarily know. Okay. There's all sorts of things like that and more. Of course there is, and more. Okay. But I mean, with gold itself, I think gold, obviously Bitcoin's been out for 10 years now, and if you look at gold, it's probably a couple of thousand years or more that we've been using it, that we've been applying it and giving it the value that we've given it. So that's massive. If you look at, for example, I think the market capitalization of gold is something like 7 trillion last time I looked. It might be 7.2 or 7.8 trillion. Yeah, you correct me on them figures if you like, but it's over 7 trillion, the total capitalization of gold. Currently, the whole crypto market is something like 130 odd billion. Yeah, that's way off them trillions yet. And so, I'd have to have a look at Bitcoin itself now to see what the actual market cap is. I think last time I looked, it might have been 50, 60 billion. I can't remember actually properly now off the top of my head, but that's what you're looking at. Okay. So, when you think about them, obviously you think about gold as a precious metal, something very attractive, still that scarcity about it. It's a physical object. Yes, of course. Are people bothered about that when it comes to speculation or investment or storing their money in a safe place? No. Is it more tricky to move gold? Yes. Easier to move Bitcoin? Yes, of course it is. It gives it a really good value, and these are the reasons why. Okay, so don't forget, like I just said before, we don't know how much of the precious metals left when it comes to gold, but we do know how much it is on Bitcoin. Now, they're only a small bunch of items, but them alone make Bitcoin worth a bloody fortune. Okay, already it's less than $4,000, just less than $4,000 right now. Now we talk about the drop that occurred, something like 80% since January, since its high, and people just think that that's the death of Bitcoin and stuff like that. Now, if people are still thinking that way, then they've really got to learn. Now, don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor here, but I'm just giving you the details of what I see and what my opinion is in this. So if you just look at them small details of the comparisons to gold, the extra things to do with Bitcoin and why it is of such good value and why it will be more value in the future, the store of value aspect is huge. But if you look at that and you look at obviously the actual limit, the supply of it, and so forth like that, you are definitely looking at the key attributes of why it's going to be worth a lot of money. So if we go back to January being at this high around 20,000, just over 19,000 or just under $20,000, and we talk about 84% or 80 odd percent pullback since then. That has happened before, by the way. But even then, if you extend your view, which I mention a lot of time, extend your view a lot wider, well, we are huge. I can't even remember what it was early 2017, but we are hundreds, if not thousands of percent up on that. So that's where you've got to widen your view. We are going to have these highs, we are going to have these drops, we are going to have pullbacks, we are going to have long-term corrections, which we suspect this is what this one was recently. We're going to have years of waiting for the growth. Now, I've always mentioned this before, if you're in it for speculative reasons, that's great. If you're in it for the currency aspect and the technology aspect of it, that's great. If you're in it for both, which I believe you can be, then that's great as well. There's nothing wrong with that either. As far as I'm concerned, you're in the safest place that you can be, and you're probably in the place what's going to accumulate the value a lot more. And this is just one aspect of it when you compare it to gold and being gold number 2. It is probably going to be used as a safe haven for money, certainly in the future. Now, things are happening in the background to use it as a daily currency, perhaps, and that possibly will be the case. It might be the case that it stays more like gold in a way where we use it not for a daily currency as such, but certainly as a store of value and a way to put your money in a safe place. And then it might, and I'm hoping this is the case, become more available for spending. You can spend Bitcoin now. I spend Bitcoin. I use special cards for it. If you don't know anything about them, I have done some videos on them, and I'm going to do some more videos in the future. You can spend your cryptocurrencies in certain ways, but we need more merchants on board. We need more daily activity for that, and we need to get that structure in place, and that's being worked on at the moment. So whether it's Bitcoin that you spend or whether it's another crypto, and you just use gold, just use Bitcoin as like another version of gold, that's great. It's great to have this, and it is a huge deal for the world. These the blockchain cryptocurrencies, it's a huge deal. And I think to understand these attributes of them, to understand them better, is seriously important. Now, I'm really sorry I didn't manage to do like a real meticulous video today, but I had to get this out. I'll be back working on my business Monday morning, and I know I wouldn't be able to get in the week. So full apologies for the little bit rough. Hasn't got all the info in there. I did plan on putting some stuff up here on this side. Sorry, I did plan on putting some stuff here. I might try and do that before I go out of the studio, but if I don't, full apologies. I hope that this has given you some good information and kind of gives you an idea about the comparison between Bitcoin and gold and why the attributes are dead important. Okay, but I will speak to you soon, guys. I hope you liked this video. Hit that like button if you did. Definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that notification bell, of course, and share this video as well. Also, let me know what you think. If you think it's too rough and I need to spend a bit more time on these, and yes, I'd agree with you. But hopefully it's given you some good info for you, like I've said, and it's worked out. But I'll speak to you soon, guys. Take it easy.